All right. So our topic for today is about development of science in these three places. No. So how did science start during those times? No. So this is just a look back in history. So most specifically, this is a storytelling. Okay. So let's proceed. Our learning objective for this lesson is we have to identify how science and technology develop in different parts of the world. Sige. First, the development of science in Mesoamerica. It includes an entire area here of Central America from southern Mexico up to the border of South America. So there's no doubt that the Mesoamerican region is rich in culture, right? And of course, it is also rich in knowledge prior to the arrival of the European colonizers. Colonized man sila. So just like us. But of course, they already have their own culture and knowledge even before naging colonized. So first, the Maya civilization. It is one of the famous civilization and it lasted for approximately 2,000 years. So these people, they are known for their works in astronomy and they incorporated their advanced understanding of astronomy into their temples and their religious structures. No? So this allows them to use their temples for astronomical observation. Nga kinanglan nila mag-watch sa skies because they use this for their rituals. Okay, so for example, here is a pyramid in Chichen Itza in Mexico, and it is situated at the location of the sun during spring and fall equinoxes. So they use this for their uh, worship, no, or their agricultural, uh, let's say, schedule and their festivals. So the Mayan knowledge and understanding about celestial bodies was advanced for their time as evidenced by their knowledge of, for example, kaya nila mag-predict sa eclipse. And they use astrological cycles sa ilang planting and harvesting. And the Mayans are also known for measuring time using two complicated calendar systems. And this calendar were very useful for their life sa ilang routine, especially in planning their activities and in observing their religious rituals and cultural celebrations. So they used a 20-day month, no? Ang ilang month is composed of 20 day and they have two calendar years. So meron sila sang 260-day na calendar which they call the sacred round or this Tzolk'in, and the 365-day na calendar which is they call the vague year or the half. So these two calendars coincided every 52 years and the 52-year period of time was what they call the bundle. Once na mag-reach na sa year 52, it is called a bundle. So it is like kung mag-isip kita sa century. No? So may mga na sila. And the Mayans also developed the technology for growing different crops and building elaborate cities using ordinary machineries and tools. So they built hydraulic system with sophisticated waterways to supply water to different communities. And they also use various tools to adapt themselves to innovation, especially sa field of arts. So they built looms, nagaweave sila cloth, and also they devised a rainbow of glittery paint from this mineral called the mica. And they're also believed to be one of the first people na nag-produce some rubber products. So even before 3,000 years before ang Goodyear nagpa-patent sa rubber. So diri na siya ginagamit sa ilang those sports. And the Mayans are considered one of the most scientifically advanced societies In Mesoamerica, they are also one of the famous sila sa world's first civilization nga nag-use sa writing system that we know as Mayan hieroglyphics. And they were also skilled in mathematics. They created a number system nga naga-base sa numeral 20. And moreover, they independently, wala may nagtudlo sila lang, they developed the concept of zero and positional value. Even before the Romans. Let's go to Inca civilization. They are famous also in Mesoamerica. So they made advances or scientific advances or ideas considering their limitations as an old civilization, but still. And here are their scientific ideas and tools that they developed to help them in their everyday lives. So the Inca civilization, they are famous in Mesoamerica, and they built their roads just like here hasta subong ara pa na ang ilang roads and buildings, no, ang ilang stone paved roads and stone buildings, no, na surmount gina ang mga earthquakes and other disasters. So hasta subong pwede pa makatuan kag pag-on pagyapon. So of course again their irrigation system also made of stone. And this technique for storing water and para ipaagi ang tubig pakadto sa ilang talagnan. They developed that all by themselves. And they also have a calendar with 12 months to mark their religious festival and prepare them for planting season. Right. And also, they were the first to develop a suspension bridge, no? You see, suspension bridge. And as sa subong, pwede pa, ginagamit pa sa mga tourists. And also, they have this system called the kipu. It is a system of knotted ropes. Ang paghigot, bala, amo na ang kipu, dira, kay kung paano ginahigot. Kay do, ginhimo nila nga record system, no? Probably sa ilang mga harvest or like kung pila ang naani nila sa mo nga harvest time na amo na ginagamit nila. Also their Inca textiles. Now since it is one of the specially prized artistic achievements ng Inca. As you can see there, even before amo na nila nga patterns and colorful na ang textile nila before. So amo ni ang ilang prized product, no? Let's say pwede nila mapadayaw sa other tribes, no? Or ibaligyan nila, etc. etc. And after, di ba, Mayans ang first, and then second is Inca, and the last one is the Aztec civilization. So, following the Inca, the Aztec civilization has also made substantial contributions man sa fields of science and technology. And sa ilaman society as a whole. So, some of their contributions are mga mandatory education. May ara sila sa kamana. Though they put value sa education. And that is why their children are mandated to get education biskan lalaki ka pa or babae. No? So regardless of social class as well, gender, or regardless of age. And it is an early form sang universal or inclusive education. And next is Chinampa. It is a form of Aztec technology for agricultural farming in which the land is divided into rectangular areas, just like this, wherein it is surrounded by a canal. So, though automatic, automatic water system naman siya dayon. Sila na nag-develop ang Aztec. Well, going back, dire sa they also use chocolate. This one is chocolate. They use chocolate as cuarta or as currency. No, the Aztec people in Mexico, they developed chocolate during their time, and they value cacao beans highly. They value it highly, and they made it as part of their tributes to their gods. And as well, di ba, ginhimo na nila nga currency, so pambayad siya kung may ginbakal ka nga crops, amo ni bayad, something like that. Hindi mo lang kwarta. And next is antispasmodic medication. So they use a type of antispasmodic medication, antispasm pala nga medication that could prevent muscle spasms and that could relax muscles. And amo na ginagamit nila for their form of surgery. Mayroon sila operation. So as anesthesia. All right. So here is the Aztec calendar. So may pagkahawig siya with the other civilizations calendar kay dugin pass on walang knowledge. So this enabled them to plan their activities, rituals, and also their planting season. The Aztecs view of time in the modern world ng dako ginang ilang pag value sa time. So according to Townsend, time for the Aztecs was full of energy and motion, the harbinger of change, and always charged with a potent sense of miraculous happening. The cosmogonic myths reveal a preoccupation with the process of creation, destruction, and recreation. And the calendrical system reflected these notions about the character of time. So, dako ang pag-value nila sa time. Um, it is a straight line, no? Kumbaga para sa aton, it is though straight line lang siya from a distant past to an infinite future. But lain ang intensity sa pagtanaw sa Aztecs sa time. They also invented canoe. So do you know what a canoe is? Just this narrow boat. So it is a light narrow boat used for traveling in water systems. Um, this is smart actually since nag-build sila mga waterways na pakadto sa ilang farmlands and pakadto sa ilang cities. So ang ga-connect sa mga cities nga ni sa Aztec cities nga ni are these waterways. So mo na lang naging gamit nila nga mode of transportation. And amo nang nag-led nga naka-invent sila sa ginatawag nga canoe. All right, let's go with remember sa Mesoamerica ha, Mayans, Inca, and Aztec. All right, let's go with development of science in Asia. Asia is the biggest continent in the world and the home of many ancient civilizations. It is a host to many cultural, economic, scientific, and political activities of all ages. Kay kadako pa siya. And in the field of science and technology, also mathematics, no? Great civilizations also stood out. No? India, China, Middle East civilizations. So these civilizations were incomparable with the terms of their contribution to the development of knowledge or knowledge systems during their time. So for India, India is a huge peninsula. Peninsula, na palibutan siya sa water. Okay? And it is fortified by huge mountains as well. Even mountains next to the water. No? So, ang ilang border sa India is mountains. So, the Indians creatively developed various ideas and technologies useful in their everyday lives. They are known for manufacturing iron and metallurgical works. Their iron steel is considered to be the best and held with high regard in the whole of Roman Empire. So, naga-manufacture pa sila or like nagabaligya pa sila sa iron products sa Roman Empire. India is also famous for their medicine. For example, Ayurveda. It is a system of traditional medicine that originated in ancient India, sorry, before 2000 or 2500 BC, and it is still practiced up to this day. Midugay na, but still, it is a form of their alternate medicine. Pagyapon. Subok. So they discovered some medicinal properties, some plants that led them to develop medicines to cure various illnesses or like home remedies. So also some ancient texts like this Susruta Samhita describe different surgical and other medical procedures. So imagine during that time meron na sila sang surgical procedures, no? Famous in ancient India and published pa dayon kay ara sa libro Susruta Samhita. Ancient India is also notable in the field of astronomy, and they developed theories on the configuration of the universe, the spherical self supporting Earth, and also ang isa ka tuig or like ang calendar year nga may 360 days kag may 12 equal parts, which is daw manang nadala ta subok, di ba? 365 na may 12 months, di ba? So sila 360 days with 12 equal parts kag ang each part or like ang each month is 30 days. So it is noted that their interest in astronomy was also evident in the first 12 chapters sang this book, Siddhartha Shiromani. It is written in the 12th century pa. So this ancient text covered topics such as mean longitudes of the planets, true longitudes of the planets, and the three problems ng diurnal rotation, lunar eclipses, may mga muna dayo nga topic, and imagine na 12th century pa lang nasulat na ning libro, but nag-discuss na siya about lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, na mga rising and setting of the moon's crescent, mga conjunction of the planets with each other. So, ano gyud siya, full study of space na gyud siya, no? With their limited materials before, limited resources, limited paano to sila katangla sa langit, something like that. And ancient India is also known for their mathematics. Noted that the earliest traces of mathematical knowledge sa Indian subcontinent appeared in Indus Valley civilization. So this is what remains of that. The people of this civilization, they tried to standardize measurement of length, no, to a high degree and accuracy, and they designed a ruler. Ruler bala, inch and centimeter. So, nag-design sila sang ruler. But of course, ilaman nga standard in the inch kag centimeter. Gitawag nga Mohenjo-daro ruler. Mohenjo-daro. And this is Aryabhata. He is an Indian astronomer and mathematician. He has a book called Aryabhatiya. He introduced a number of trigonometric functions, tables, and techniques, as well as algorithms of algebra. Na sila ni ang may pakana, no? Trigo, algebra, and mga tables and techniques of algorithms sa algebra. Next is Brahmagupta. He's also an Indian mathematician. He suggested that gravity was a force of attraction. So even before that time, no, may ara na siya idea that gravity daw is a force of attraction. And he lucidly explained the use of zero as a placeholder, no? And as a decimal digit. So along with Hindu-Arabic numeral system that we use now, siya man ang nag-una sila. Indo-Arabic numeral system. Another Indian, his name is Madhava of Sangamagrama. He is considered as the founder of mathematical analysis. Namudamo sang mathematicians nga Indian. Alright, let's go to China. China is one of the ancient civilizations with substantial contributions like, for example, sa medicine, sa astronomy, science, mathematics, arts, philosophy, and music again. Okay? So, Chinese civilizations have greatly influenced many of its neighboring countries, no? Like Korea, Japan, Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar. Tanan nga maagyan sining Silk Road. Okay? The Chinese are known for their traditional medicines. It's a product of centuries of experiences and discoveries man sa mga Chinese people before. And they discovered various medical properties and uses of different plants and animals to cure human illnesses. And as an example, they invented acupuncture. Chinese invented acupuncture. In terms of technology, the Chinese are known to develop many tools. So among the famous discoveries and inventions ng Chinese, makita today, may compass, paper making. They were they were one of the first, no? And what else? Gunpowder. Sa ila fireworks na they were the first to invent or discover that. And printing tools, no? Meron sila sang para hindi ka na bala magsulit-sulit handwrite sini, no? Gin ano nila, gin sculpt nila into wood and stamp na lang nila dayon. So printing tool na siya and became known in the West only by the end of the Middle Ages. They also invented iron tools, no? Sa pang ano nila pang farming, no? May plow, wheelbarrow, propeller also, and they developed and designed different models of bridges and withstanding calamities. Until now, you can see them and ano pa, tawag dito, matibay. They also invented the first seismological detector. What is a seismological detector? It detects earthquakes, this one. And they developed a dry dock facility. Dry dock facility. Since, di ba, ano sila, they are into trade. Ang pakita, ito ba ginang Silk Road. So, they're more of traveling on water. So, in the field also of astronomy, the Chinese also made significant records on supernovas, lunar and solar eclipses, and comets as well, which were carefully recorded and preserved to understand better the heavenly bodies and their effects on the world. So they observed the heavenly bodies to understand, example, weather changes and the changes in seasons and how they affect their daily activities. So they used lunar calendars as well. And again, since they invented the first seismological detector, they are known in seismology. And of course, since may ara sila some knowledge about seismology, mga earthquakes, no, they made them more prepared in times of such calamities. China made substantial contributions in the field of various fields gid gani kay science, technology, mathematics, astronomy, etc., etc., right? And their list of discoveries and inventions is overwhelming with lots of years and lots of, let's say, thinkers there, diba? But these contributions that they made, ano lang, limited lang. Kumbaga, wala nila na-reach ilang full potential. Why? Because of cultural factors and as well as their beliefs, and their religious and philosophical framework, no? Sa mga Chinese intellectuals, that is the reason why they were unable to accept the ideas of the laws of nature. So may limit. All right. Next is continuing Middle East. The Middle East countries are dominantly occupied by Muslims, and with the spread of Islam in the 7th and 8th centuries, the period of Muslim scholarship, no? Or ginatawag na Golden Age. When sinikang Muslim scholarship, most of the scholars or the thinkers or the let's say Stoics during that time, no? Kasi nga Stoics sa ano naman isa Greek naman ay but during this time sa 7th and 8th century, may mga na natabo uh, sa Middle East wherein their mga maalam nga tao bala are Muslim. So it's called the Golden Age of Islam. So the common language of Arabic, since they have access to Greek text, kay lapit lang, no? Tungod sa kalapiton Manila, uh, from the Byzantine Empire, and also sa kalapiton Manila sa India. So napatungan gid sila eh. And they have also contributed to the intellectualization ng Muslim and provided their scholars or ang mga thinkers, Muslim thinkers, with knowledge to create innovations and develop new ideas as well. So, contrary to the Greeks, ang Muslim scientists place greater value sa science experiments rather than plain thoughts. Diba? Kasi Greeks, most of them are focused on philosophy, science, and then philosophical science as well. Philosophy, science, and philosophical science. And most of them are, kumbaga, what do you call this? They are having thought experiments. Naman ang term, thought experiments. But si Muslim, ang mga Muslim scientists, they'd rather have physical experiments in order to understand something. So this led to the development of the scientific method. Because of the Muslim scholars, we have the scientific method. And they made significant improvements by using experiments to distinguish between competing scientific theories and within a generally empirical orientation. Tungod, nag-follow sila sa scientific steps, no? Or scientific methods. So, pwede nila ma-recreate ang experiments ng iban and then i-compare ang mga competing scientific theories and kung ano ato ang always nga outcome. So, amo na ang specific theory, amo na ang what do you call this? Amo na ang ila standard or para sila mo na ang insakto. Kay tungod sa kapilangan sulit-sulit nga pinakasulit-sulit nga experiment amo ni ang result meaning probably amo ning insakto. So, that's it. Sa ilahan din ang scientific method. Here, a Muslim scientist named Ibn al-Haytham is also regarded as father of optics, especially for his empirical proof of the intromission theory of light. And sa ano ni siya optics, this one is mathematics. In mathematics, the mathematician named Muhammad al-Khwarizmi, Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, he gave his name to the concept of algorithm. No, algorithm. While ang term gani nga algebra is it is derived from his book Algebra, and the beginning of this title is iya isa ka publication. So, what is now known as the Arabic numeral system, it originally came from India, but Muslim mathematicians did make several refinements to the number system, such as nag-introduce na sila sa decimal point and mga number notation, so decimal point notation, something like that. So Muslim chemists and alchemists also played an important role in the foundation of modern chemistry. In particular, some scholars considered Jabir ibn Hayyan as the father of chemistry. Not everyone, but some scholars do consider Jabir ibn Hayyan as the father of chemistry. And here is in the field of medicine naman, si Ibn Sina, he pioneered the science of experimental medicine. And he was actually the first physician to conduct clinical trials. And his two most notable works in the medicine are his books. The title of his books are The Book of Healing and The Canon of Medicine, which, mind you ha, they were used as standard medicinal text. Ginagamit siya as textbook in both the world and in Europe as well during the 17th century. So among his many contributions are the discovery of the contagious nature of mga infectious diseases and ang introduction sa clinical pharmacology. All right, so those were development of science in Asia. Now let's go with development of science in Africa. Africa is blessed with natural and mineral resources. Science also emerged in this part of the planet long before the Europeans also colonized it. Kaya sa Europeans, hindi na siya nag-colonize siya. The history of science and mathematics show that similar to other ancient civilization, no, the early civilization also in Africa, they actually produce knowledge as well. So you'll see later. Right, the ancient Egyptian civilization. So it has contributed immensely and made significant advances in the fields of astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. And as you can see, the Great Pyramids are still up until now, right? So for example, on developments ng geometry, it is a product actually because of the necessity to preserve ang layout sang land or sa pagtunga-tunga, pag-divide sang land because of the ownership of the farmlands sa Egyptians nga living lapit sa Nile River. Because of that, na bata ang geometry. And the rules of geometry were developed and used to build these rectilinear structures. That is the pose of lintel architectures sa Egypt. And these early science activities in Egypt were developed to improve the quality of life of Egyptians, of course, in building their early homes and cities. So the great structures of the Egyptian pyramids and the early dams nga ginhimo to divert water from the Nile River. These are some proofs that the ancient Egyptian civilization were advanced for that time. So ancient Egypt was also known to be a center of alchemy, which is known as the medieval forerunner of chemistry. So before there was chemistry, people were practicing alchemy, and they tried to study also human anatomy and pharmacology, and they applied important components such as examination, diagnosis, treatment, and prognosis for the treatment of disease. And these components displayed strong parallels to the basic empirical methods of studying science. So makita ko how advanced the ancient Egyptian civilization was. Also, uh, in astronomy was also famous in African region. For example, ang mga documents shows that the Africans used three types sang calendars: the lunar, the solar, the stellar, or sometimes a combination of the three. No? So this one here is their solar calendar, and this one is their lunar calendar, and I can't find a stellar calendar picture of it. All right, next is metallurgy, metals. Metallurgy was also known in the African regions during those ancient times, no? North African and in the Nile Valley, they imported iron. Nag-import sila iron from their Near East region, and that enabled them to benefit from the developments during the Bronze Age. So from Bronze Age until the Iron Age, mas lamang ang ilang knowledge compared sa others. So they invented metal tools used in their homes and in agriculture. And also, of course, nakita naman natin ang ilang magnificent architecture. So they probably also use metal tools for that. Next, mathematics. Or this is the last, mathematics. So mathematics was known to be prominent in the life of early people in the African continent. So for example, here the Lebombo bone and the Ishango bone. These were found from the mountains between Swaziland, the Lebombo bone, Swaziland, and South Africa, which may have been in the until now there is no one sure answer kung ano gid man ang using but it may have been a basta sure gid sila nga some form of mathematical tool ni siya but hindi lang sure if it's a tool for multiplication, division, no? Or if it's a simple mathematical calculation. Or pwede man nga since of its division kung pila ka bilog ang what do you call it, serrated, gin serrate na mo gid dugin pilas balang po. So pwede man nga ano siya 6-month lunar calendar, no? But until now it's not final kung ano gid man siya. So it is considered to be the oldest mathematical artifact, no? So it's dated from 35,000 BCE. And ancient Egyptians are good in the four fundamental mathematical operations and other mathematical skills. No? So they have knowledge of the basic concepts of algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. Makita man sa ilang architecture. The Islamic regions in Africa during the medieval period, they were also benefiting from the mathematical learning, which is considered advanced during those times, such as these three, algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. So, how did the experts know nga sagad sila sa amon makita man sa ilang architecture, mayroon man mga records, and yeah, of how sturdy their their architectures are. Up until now, nagasige pa sila discover more about the ancient Egyptian civilization. So those were the developments of science in this various